Hi, we're the Sky Whisperers, Alison and Terry, and today we're chatting with Lianne McCafferty, who's a very accomplished astrologer, a tutor at the Mayo School, and a really interesting background as well, which began, I believe, in a scientific career and has also just kind of spanned being a major horsewoman and now a sports person as well. So, Leanne, tell us a little bit about yourself because I'm just amazed at how much you've managed to fit in, honestly.
So am I. It's just all a bit crazy, to be honest. Yeah, so as you say, I started off in a scientific research career, but at the same time, I was competing with my horses at quite a serious level, and that was where my heart was. So eventually, the horses won over the research career, which, to be honest, I found a bit too corporate and stifling, and that Monday to Friday kind of
Yes.
routine, I really hated it. Without even kind of acknowledging it consciously, I think I just felt
Mm.
very confined. So yeah, I then did my show jumping. That became a full-time career, and I was coaching as well.
Wow.
And then I had my son quite a few years later, and felt the need for change again. So I gradually wound down
Mm.
the sporting career. And I wanted to study. I just had this
Right.
urge to study. I had a progressed new moon kind of happening. And I'd already always been fascinated with astrology. So as a
Hmm.
child, myth. So if Sinbad was on the TV or Jason and the
Yeah.
Argonauts, that was just me all over. Any types of books about myths I loved. And then, horoscopes. I'd get a magazine or newspaper, and what's the first thing I turn to? The horoscopes. Yeah. So, like I was saying, I got to this point, I wanted to study again, and I was thinking of doing maybe, I don't know, a psychology degree or something
Yeah.
like that. And then one day I was like, I need to find out how these astrologers write these horoscope columns. How do they do it? So I went to a local library and got a book, Teach Yourself Astrology, that type of thing. Then that was it. That was it.
Oh,
And I knew that
wow.
was what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And then I discovered you could study formally. There were
Right.
actually astrology schools and you could get a diploma, that type of thing. So I enrolled with the Mayo, and yeah, the rest's history, to be honest.
Wow.
That
So,
that's
so,
really
so,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, what sort of, I mean, when was that? And what were the factors in your chart then at that time? You said a progressed new moon. Was that connected to Uranus or something with the astrology? That sounds like a real kind of, okay, this is my path, enlightening moment. Or was it a little bit more
I
progressive
can't
than
I
you?
can't quite remember the exact details of the progressed full moon. I'm sure it was I can't remember. I can look it up anyway. I should have that in mind.
That's fine.
Um what it was, I'm very Cancer Capricorn, so Pluto kind of had gone over my Gemini planets. Yeah, that's right. And then it moved into Capricorn. So no, sorry, Pluto was opposing some Gemini planets, etc. Then
Okay,
it
in
moved
Sag, yeah.
into Capricorn and pretty much hit every part of my chart.
Oh, wow.
Bang, bang. It's like domino effect. So I think it was just a very profound life transformation,
Mm,
to be honest. And my personal life changed incredibly dramatically.
right.
And it was just a sort of really pivotal point of my life. And I wouldn't want to go through it again, all that Pluto stuff. I would never scare anyone with Pluto transits because what I've gained is incredible, but I wouldn't necessarily want to go through it all again on a personal level.
I
But
understand.
no, I wouldn't change any of it. So
Right.
I think that's the biggie, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. What
Yeah.
I just wonder about the equestrianism, no, or like horse riding. That yeah, how
Yeah.
does it? I always because when the people are into something else in addition to astrology, I always wonder how do they go together or how that training and that discipline and everything is reflected on what you are doing at the moment? How do you see any reflection of horse riding or any sports into astrology that you are doing now?
Yeah, I think it works on a couple of levels. So, obviously the coaching, I was a qualified coach. So those coaching skills, were just something that naturally transferred into being a consultant astrologer, working with people. And I was always, when I was coaching, other riders, I was always fascinated with the psychology side of competition, the sports person's brain, how that impacted performance, etc. But I've got a lot of water, a lot of Cancer planets, so I was always kind of had that emotional connection, which just came very, very naturally, very intuitive read on people. But I think another way that's played out is I've only had 3 careers in my life. So the scientific career, the equestrian, and now astrology. I'm very single-minded. So when I decide I'm going to do something, it's like 100% I'm doing it. So, whatever I choose to do, that's going to be it, and I put everything into it. But I think from a natal perspective, I've got a Sun-Jupiter opposition, which probably describes the horses. If you link Jupiter to big animals, horses. And obviously Jupiter very much comes into, I don't know, the learning journey I've had with astrology. You're always learning, aren't you? And I'm a natural teacher, I guess. I've coached for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, something like that now. I don't know. So, yeah.
That's really interesting. So the Sun Jupiter, do you mind saying where your sun is? Is
It's
that
in the 6th house. It's
and that's
animals.
Cancer, is it?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
so
Cancer.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. And Jupiter, of course, with the connection to Sagittarius and the horses and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah. And do you
yeah.
have Chiron sort of tied in there at all? Because I think quite often when you find horses and a love of horses in the
Mhm.
chart, you can find Chiron tied in there
Yeah, I've
too.
got a Moon Chiron square. It's almost exact. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And the moon then ruling that Cancer sun.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's super interesting. Yes, that was definitely a destiny there, wasn't it? And you
Yeah, I
must
think
still
so.
be involved in horses. I can't imagine how you could let that
No,
go.
no,
No?
no, not at all. If someone had said to me 10, 15 years ago that I would have nothing to do with horses, I would have just been like, no. But it was such a gradual
Okay.
sort of wind down and transfer of what I was doing with my life. And my final horse, who was old, I lost her maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And after
Right.
that, I was just like, no, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I closed the door. I very much closed a door, and I've got lots of friends who are still involved in horses, and they're
Hmm.
always like, "Are you going to come for a ride? Are you going to come and do this?" And I'm like, "No, no, that's done now. That's in the past. So yeah,
Wow. And there's something, isn't there? I was talking to somebody who had horses as a child, and she said, when it's your horse, that's very different. I could go riding now, but it's not my horse. It's like, you have that close connection, which is
yeah,
Sagittarian, kind of chironic. It's almost like the centaur, and you become one with that horse and
hmm
sort of
hmm
moving off, into the distance with that particular becoming part of that beast, if you like. And it's not the same then if you just kind of go for a ride on another horse. So it's a completely different experience.
It's not. You're totally right there because you have a very, very intimate bond. It's almost an
Mm,
intuitive bond with an
yeah.
animal or any, a horse or any animal, to be honest. But part of it as well was a lot of it for me. It wasn't just the love of horses because that was I was like that from a child. But it was like I was very, very competitive. So when I stopped
Okay.
competing, I just didn't have that huge drive to ride up and down the road or just ride around the
Okay.
field.
Hmm.
That just didn't really, appeal to me at all. So yeah, don't know.
So now that era is closed. Now you are doing the karate, right? You are with
Yeah, so I yeah, I'm
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah. You
really
are the second
competitive.
dad, yeah,
Yeah,
second
and
dad.
I've got a Mercury Mars conjunction, so I have to move, I have to exercise, I have to be busy. So my son started karate when he was about 7 years old. And from the very first lesson, I was just like, I'm going to let him get his first belt, then I'm going to start doing this. And that absolutely filled in the void left by the horses. And I think that's
Right.
probably why I found it easier to close off from the
Yes.
equestrian era in my life, because I had something else taking up that competitive drive and that a
Mm,
physical outlet, if you like. Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting because I met Lianne at the conference here of the Scottish Astrological
Yeah.
Association, and then we are walking, and then she's looking, "How do you keep up with me?" Because she walks so fast, and it's like, and I'm like, I'm trained by my mother, my grandfather, and my husband, and she's looking like, okay, because she walks. I can say that Lianne walks like rocket. She walks like this, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming, coming. So
So
you
the
can
word
see
that
the drive. Drive.
the word that I'm really getting, Leanne, is purposeful. I mean, there's something really purposeful about everything you do, I think. And you know, you kind of have goals, and it's a very cardinal kind of
Yeah,
energy.
yeah,
Is that,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
yeah,
got a
I
lot
mean,
of cardinal placements, and I've got Capricorn moon rising. So everything has to be done with a purpose, and I have to make use of everything. Yeah.
gosh, I'm so admiring of that, says the eighth house Pisces sun. Gosh, it's just like it's a dream, Leanne.
No, it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting being me, to be honest. My brain never switches off, which
Right.
it can be a wonderful gift, but it's a double-edged sword as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
should be a little bit more mindful and try and put more time aside for switch off. But
So as well as that, I mean, do you find I mean, you have the Cancer planet, so I'm imagining the answer is yes, but for the kind of the 12th house stuff as well, you know, that kind of just letting go, I suppose, you know, the sort of being in the nothing, or is that the space that sometimes you find more challenging,
yeah,
perhaps?
I do. I find that challenging. So my Jupiter falls in the 12th.
Okay.
But it's in the 12th, it's in Capricorn, it's retrograde.
Right.
And I don't resonate particularly with it. I have to work hard to acknowledge that
Mm.
Jupiter. It's a very 12th house thing, isn't it?
Hmm.
And it's taken me quite a while to sort of actually realize it's there
Yes.
and that it is working very, very hard all the time.
Mm.
But that nothing space, that switch off space, yeah, it's a challenge without a doubt. And I'm not very good at it. And actually, that's one of my goals for this year is to try and do a bit less, to be
Right.
as productive, but do
Go a
less.
goal to be less, but it's again a goal.
To do less, and to try and I've got this urge to take up yoga because I'm a really stiff person. I'm not very flexible at all. And as I'm getting older and I'm continuing on with the karate and going to like higher levels, I really feel the need to keep myself as flexible as possible. So
No, that's a good point.
yeah, and I just
Yeah.
thought the yoga might help with that sort of meditative side that I sort of don't really prioritize. Yeah, I'm very much one of those people, do as I say, not do as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yoga is definitely one of the things I love. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your writing then, because you've got.
That I was just in my mind. I
Sorry,
was also,
sorry,
yeah,
Terry.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
give you long
Yeah,
enough
no,
to
no, no, no,
speak.
no, 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 no. No, no, that I was just going to like, because I had something in my mind, and it was, yes, writing, because it's interesting that on your website it's you are saying that I'm a writer and an astrologer, I don't know if there is a special reason in that order, because not astrologer and the writer, but it's like, that it's like that, that, yeah, you go on.
There's no reason for that. That wasn't done consciously. I think I just would have typed it into the website. I think the two go hand in hand. I think they work beautifully together. So obviously, I do a lot of astrological writing. I had Juno published earlier this year. So that's what I class as like the more academic research type writing. Which is just part of my job, to be honest. That Juno book came about because I'd done so much research on Juno, so many talks, had so many articles published. And someone said, you really need to put all of that into a book and compile it. So that came about very organically, I suppose, and quite easily. And then I've just published my first fiction novel.
Yes.
Yeah, which I've been that's been gestating, should I say, for about 9 years, which I find fascinating because it's kind of immersed in the myth of Lilith, which has that kind of 9 year cycle type thing.
Right.
So yeah, so that's been really exciting and definitely a journey. Definitely a journal. And that feels very different to writing a astrology academic book. Yeah, it feels it's a very different type of writing and it's a very different type of feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you find you divide up your day a little bit? Are you quite...
Oh, lost sound there, Alison.
Lost sound.
Is that back?
Yeah.
It is back. It's back. That's fine. Probably you pressed something by mistake and we don't hear you again.
It's gone again.
Is that back again?
Yeah, that's good.
It
It's
is.
okay. It's microphone user microphone error. So I was just wondering if you're very organized with your day, actually, if you're very good at organizing your time. Is that something that's been helpful?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty structured and I'm pretty organized with my diary. Although I'd sort of allow flexibility within that. And wherever possible, I try and work with the astrology, say, the schedule for a week. I'll work with the astrology. So if I've got something really creative, say I'm creating a PowerPoint for a new talk, and I've got, I don't know, Mercury hitting Neptune, or there's something like artistic, I'll sort of block that period out to do like the creative or the artistic-y type stuff. Wherever possible, because obviously sometimes you have meetings that you have to go to and you have no choice over when to sort of do them. Or I'll block out, if like it's more of a Saturn day, I'll like get all the accounts done, or I don't know, the boring stuff done, that type of stuff. So I try and work with it like that. So although I'm very organized, I am quite flexible. And then life happens, and sometimes you just have to swerve and rejiggle stuff as well. But I'm actually a really bad procrastinator. So, so although my day looks really organized and it's blocked off, I'll have a task and it'll take me about 15 minutes to actually get started on the task by the time I've scrolled through my phone and gone through the latest thing that's popped up on my web page. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That is quite reassuring, actually.
Oh, I'm terrible. I've got Venus and Gemini, gets distracted very easily. So I'll be searching for something on the net, and then before I know it, I'll be on YouTube looking at celebrities going around the houses. Or I'll be, or like today, I'll be reading all the news articles about the Beckhams, all the family drama of the Beckhams, and then I have to like give myself a shake and say, right, come on, work. But then once I get into work, I'm hyper focused. It's just getting in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course you're mixing that up with your family as well. So, things happen there and you have to kind of pivot and like, oh right, okay, I'm not doing that today.
Yes. So I am quite good at pivoting. So I'm not completely rigid. So
yeah.
And for that, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, if I could be, that you establish a publishing company. Is it something like that?
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
if that's my project for this year, yeah. So I'm going to set up a little publishing thing. It's just starting as a website, really, and just really to host independent writers or niche books, that type of thing, self-published. It's just going to be a resource, really. I'm not going to be publishing anyone else's books, certainly not in the next couple of years. But yeah, it's just to encourage and provide resources for those independent writers, that type of thing. And also for my own work, because I've got another couple of books coming this year.
Wow, wow. This year,
So
are they coming this year?
yeah,
Or yeah, okay, okay.
yeah,
But
yeah.
of course, since they are coming, you want, can you give any clue what kind of, they are
Yeah,
about astrology?
yeah, they're out there because in the back of the Juno book, I've already committed to a book on how Maya, trans-Neptunian how Maya.
Ah, okay.
So I've started that. And that's kind of a similar process because I've already done so much work and research on how Maya. It's a case of pulling it all together and then sort of just adding some more, to be honest. And then obviously the sequel to my novel, which the name of that's in the back of the current novel, and there's a excerpt from the sequel because I started that a couple of years ago. So the ball's rolling. So I just have to keep the ball rolling. Yeah,
Yes,
if I
wow.
can.
Yeah, yeah. And which do you find you prefer, or do they both just give you different things, the fiction or the non-fiction,
They
the
give me
writing?
different things. So I
Yeah.
absolutely love research. So obviously I have to do that for both my books because there's quite a lot of history in the novel. And then obviously the astrological research I love. So I love them both. I love them both, but I tend to escape more into the fiction. That's a form of escape for me, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like doing that and just letting my imagination just run amok. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you are like in astrology, of course, you are doing lots of things like teaching, writing, talking, and yeah, I'm sure that you are seeing also querents and having meetings, which is more to your heart.
I love consulting with clients. I love working with clients. But I love teaching as well. I always say you learn more from students than from anyone, to be honest. It's like, students will come to you with questions or something they might be stuck with. And there's always that challenge to explain or to reframe something. And I think being challenged to do that all the time, or even to find new words to explain something,
Yes.
that teaches me so much. It's a very Chiron thing, isn't it? It's like, Chiron, you're sharing your own experience, but you're getting something back. Um, at the same time. And I always say with astrology, the more you learn, the more you realize how little you actually know.
Yes. Yes, that's very true.
That's I think
Yeah,
there's a whole ocean that we
yeah,
just know some drops out of it. I mean,
exactly.
every day I mean, I go through social media, etc., and of course filtering lots of things going on social media, but sometimes you are saying, oh my God, there is that also. Should I learn this or
I
what do I
know.
do with this now information?
Um,
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
it is, it is. I've got a list of stuff that I want to study.
Yes.
There's new techniques that I want to learn, that I've maybe know basically, but I wouldn't say I'm expert on them. And yeah, there's a whole list and I just never get round to it. So yeah, it's that case of being the eternal student, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I know you've done lots of lectures and things on Juno. Could you just give us like Juno in a nutshell? I don't I mean I have listened to one of your talks, but but just a capsule of Juno, just for people that
Yeah,
don't know
so
very much about
Juno
her.
was Jupiter's long-suffering wife. As we know, Jupiter was notoriously, he was always having affairs, you know, so Juno put it with a lot. But Juno was incredibly powerful in her own right. You know, she was highly revered in Roman culture. She had temples devoted to her. She had coins minted for her and incredibly powerful. And I think she's been unfairly described as the archetype of the long-term committed partner in astrology.
Right.
The type of partner who sticks with someone through thick and thin. You know, it's like a marriage. It's not a bed of roses, is it? You know, you have to tolerate a lot from your partner, and there's always, I don't know, sides to your partner that you really don't like, but you know, yeah, you have to put up with them. So she's just been labeled as that, you know, the partner, but there's so much more. You know, if you look at Juno in mundane astrology, she's an incredibly powerful sort of celestial body, if you like, and brings a very dynamic cardinal energy. I often describe Juno as a benefic, you know, she tends to act like a benefic more often than not. But she's got so much scope in medical astrology, obviously synastry. Yeah, I'm not sort of denying that Juno does describe that relationship dynamic. And I always describe Juno as a mature Venus. You know, it's like Venus with the rose-tinted glasses ripped off. It's like warts and all, Juno. That describes Juno. But I think Juno it's very much about she describes the balance of power within relationships, and that can be within a contract, a business relationship, a political relationship between two nations, for example.
Okay.
So there's just so much more to Juno than just describing, you know, a sort of partnership, long-term commitment.
That's interesting.
Are you interested in the female archetype, as it were, in astrology, and how that's kind of, you know, expressed? Because, you know, like in so many things, a lot of astrology has been male, I suppose, and male archetypes. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it?
It is very much so. Yeah, I think there's always been an imbalance, you know. Obviously in the real world, there's still a lot of misogyny, patriarchy, and women have had to work very, very hard to you know, come even close to having similar rights to men. And I still feel there's a long, long way to go for women in many areas of life. And I think it's something that's become a lot more conscious as I've matured or got older, whatever. But I am very, very drawn to anything about the feminine principle now and power dynamics. And, you know, my novel, it really is based on, you know, power dynamics within a relationship. And it's about two female, the heroines, if you like, or the two female lead characters becoming empowered you know, as women. So yeah, I think I'm going to sort of the sequels as well. You know, the novel's going to be a series of books, so I think that very strong feminine principle will continue to run through those, definitely. Yeah.
I just wonder something, I mean, about all these, I mean, like archetypes and everything, and then asteroids, when it comes to asteroids. I mean, I don't use because I don't know them. I have to study them. So it's like I hang around with what I'm able to interpret the best.
Yeah.
I can say that. But the thing is that I mean, like, when do you know, like, for example, why do I put, you always use Juno, I mean, Ceres or this, etc., in the chart interpretations, or sometimes you see something and then you say, okay, let me see where Juno is. Maybe I should put it there, and then maybe it gives me more information or some kind of confirmation or something like that, because the amount of asteroids that is like that can be used in astrology is a lot, so it
Yeah.
will make it too populated maybe in the
Yeah.
chart if we start like putting it around. So what is your decision process?
So I always use Juno and I always use Ceres. And I pretty much always use Black Moon Lilith too.
Mm.
Um, any other asteroids I just put in depending on the subject that's being discussed within the
Mm-hmm.
chart, or the topic at hand. And it's the same with the trans-Neptunians. So if we're talking about, anything sort of radical or out of the box thinking or, disruptive change, that type of thing, or Uranian themes, I'll put
Mm-hmm.
Maki Maki in because Maki Maki can be described as a higher octave of Uranus.
Okay.
If we're talking about anything to do with creativity or even, I don't know, Plutonic themes, I'll add Haumea in because that brings an extra layer regarding that. So I don't put everything in all the time.
Right.
And because it's just too much, and there's nothing worse than seeing a chart and it's got like 100 different glyphs in it, and and even worse if all the aspect lines are in, and it just looks
It's so bad.
awful. Do you remember? I don't. You might remember, you might not. But as a child, I had that drawing set called Spirograph, and you
Paragraph.
had the little wheels, and you used to make the most beautiful mandalas and patterns.
My
And I always,
daughter is still doing that. I mean, they have those things, and she does all these mandalas, and then like later coloring them, etc. Yeah, yeah,
oh,
it
yeah, I used to
explains
love
things.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when the aspect lines are all put into like 100 different asteroids in a chart, that's what it looks like. And it makes no sense and it's too cluttered.
Mm.
So I think people have to be discerning. And I always say there's an asteroid for every occasion. That type. So
Yes.
that's my mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, depending what people come to you with or
Yeah.
what specifically you want to look at. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
complete sense
absolutely.
actually.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Wow. And now you're involved with lots of associations as well, and the Mayo School. So how does all that kind of knit together? I mean, you must be teaching sort of 3 or 4 times a week, and then you've got other students and
I don't know. I'm trying to navigate my way through it at the minute. Well, it's quite good, the Mayo with the teaching because it has term times. So we'll have like the
sure.
autumn term, spring term, summer term.
Yeah.
So there's like blocks of times where I'll be teaching, maybe it's a couple of evenings a week, that type of thing. And the associations, they're just it's like any other committee, I guess. It's
Mm.
just you sort of just do what needs doing and I don't know, join in the meetings and take on a role that, I don't know, suits your skill set and then just
Hmm.
just roll with it. So, the being on the board of the SAA and the AA kind of only just came really the past year or so. So I don't know, I'm still finding my feet, if you like. So,
Yes.
but again, it's just you just juggle. It's that juggling act, isn't
Yeah,
it?
juggle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And so, how do you see things progressing? Do you have a plan? Do you think, I mean, Saturn, your ruling planet, about to move into chart ruler, as it were, about to move into Aries? I mean, do you feel that might become more structured? Might that slow you down a little bit as Saturn puts the brakes on some of the cardinal energy? Or I'm interested. How do you sort of see that move sort of potentially playing
I'm
out?
really excited about it, to be honest.
Okay,
I'm so done with all this Pisces energy, Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces. I'm done with it. I really am. It's old, it feels worn out, and it's been beautiful in some ways. It's been incredibly creative and
mm,
artistic and there's beauty and there's darkness in all sort of
of
planets,
course.
energies,
Yeah.
etc. There's good and bad, isn't there? But I'm
Hmm.
done. I'm ready for new energy. I think a lot of people are.
Mm.
So I think Saturn might 0 degrees of Aries where it's going to form the conjunction with Neptune. It's a very young, innocent, degree. It's very
Hmm.
impulsive and excitable. So I think Saturn might just bring a bit of sensibility to that. I'm hoping Saturn brings form to ideas,
Hmm.
structure, and any sort of exciting ideas or goals or dreams that people have. I think Saturn will help sort of manifest them and provide a good foundation for getting them going. Because I think me personally, the past year, I've started lots of new projects or had ideas, and they're just not, they don't feel fully established,
Mm.
or they're still
Yeah.
gestating somehow. So I'm hoping things will really get moving when we move into the new fire energy, if you like. Because
Yes.
I think a lot of us feel like we've just been swimming around in circles the past year, and it's been exhausting and draining, I think, in some ways. Maybe that's
Ask
just
the
me
mutables.
personally.
Ask the mutables.
Exactly. Well, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's been quite exhausting, I think. It's just like blur.
Yeah, no, I do think you're right, actually. I mean, even as someone who is quite Piscean, I do think there is a feeling of, yeah, tiredness, I think is a
Yes,
really good word, actually. And I
fatigue.
feel there's been this kind of sense of deep dreaming, if you like,
Yeah,
especially with this last kind of few months of Neptune right at the end of Pisces there.
yeah.
Um, where it has been very difficult to just kind of find any impetus to make anything
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
I mean, personally, we've had lovely family times and that kind of thing, but it's just been difficult to move like it is in
Yeah,
deep water, I think.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so moving through, and I did find as a Piscean, when Neptune was in Aries briefly last year, that
Hmm.
there was actually goal oriented. I
Yeah.
mean, which was a very, I don't want to say a new feeling because, of course, I've got planets in other signs as well. I'm
Mm.
not, but it was definitely there. There was more impetus, more sort of,
Yeah.
boot up the backside. Right, okay, this is the moment. We need to get on with it, and I'm personally looking forward to that coming back too.
Yeah, there was a sense of excitement almost, wasn't there? Which
Yeah.
we almost sort of grasped. It was at our fingertips, and then it
Yes.
it disappeared again when Neptune
Yeah.
went back into Pisces, and then that sense of kind of apathy
Yes.
almost.
It can
Yeah,
get like that.
yeah. People are worn out with the news, with what's going on in the world. They're worn out with politics, which are in a dreadful state. And people, I think, need something new, without a doubt, because, what was once tried and tested isn't necessarily working anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also, it's like if you think that, I mean, it's just completing a whole cycle. It's like a big, actually, uh, closing, big wrapping up, and then starting like it's like especially in case of the Neptune, you are talking about over 160 years of, I mean, like all going through the
Yeah.
zodiac, etc., and closing that down. And it's very interesting. The other day, from AstroSeek, Peter. He, I think, developed something new, and then you can see all back data, and it's very interesting. Saturn Neptune 0 Aries conjunction happened before Christ. It's like
Mm.
Yeah.
4,500.
Yeah.
It's like, and then since then, this never happened again. I mean, the 0 degrees. It's like you are thinking like it's like wow. It's like you are like 6,000 years later,
Yeah.
in a way, nearly 7,000 years later, you are coming to a reset. It's really
It
strange in a way.
it is. It is a complete reset. And if you think, this month, these next few days. It's going to be the last time ever that in our lifetimes that Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, because Neptune's about to move into Aries. it will never ever be in Pisces again in our lifetimes. This
No.
is like huge, huge change. And I think that's why I'm so excited about it. And all I keep saying to people is just move into it, move into the new energy because it's coming, whether
Hmm.
you like
Yeah.
it or not,
Yeah.
So, but I say that, with a smile on my face, but change isn't, I do appreciate change isn't easy for everyone. And sometimes it's easier to hold on to what we know, even if it's not comfortable or if it's not pleasant, because it's better the devil you know sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than to sort of move on and embrace the unknown. Because I
Yeah.
think in some ways we are moving into the unknown, aren't we?
Yeah.
With what's
Yeah.
going to happen with the rest of the year and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, totally. I completely agree. I mean, geopolitically, excuse me,
Mm,
politically, and it's just no one can really envisage, I don't think, how it's all going to play
no,
out. There are
no.
so many wild cards, one in particular. Um,
No names mentioned.
but even beyond that, I think, and no one can really predict either how people, as in the people, are going to react sort of
No,
globally, I don't think, as
no.
these planets move forward.
Mm,
And there's a sense, and I do think it's really interesting from the fate free will sort of aspects about, how do we all fit into it and into the new sort of era,
mm,
and how much of it might be there and be fated in some sense, and
yeah,
the extent to which we are able to make decisions and and make choices and things. And
Yeah.
I think these movements, these major movements in chart factors, like this new conjunction, it really sort of feeds into that. And as astrologers, we're just going to be watching to see how that plays out, as we were with the Pluto and this kind of cradle of planets that's out coming in
yeah.
2026 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that fate versus free will is really interesting because there's only so much we can control.
Of
We
course.
certainly can't control what's going on in politics at the moment. But I kind of describe it like at the moment, the universe or the world, whatever, it's like a alchemical process.
Mm,
Okay, we're all part of that alchemical process, and we're all trying to sort. It's like a magnus opus, isn't it? It's like the great work, and we're our own personal alchemical processes at the moment, which we have more control over to some degree. But then we're part of this collective process. There's a cauldron pot, and there's all sorts of stuff bubbling up in it.
mm.
We don't quite know what's going to come out of it, but we're all part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
That's
strong
yes.
sense of every single thing, every particle being relevant. I
Yeah,
mean, as a individual, I mean, there's no way we could grasp that, but I do feel that every single particle, every person, every idea, every all feeds into the whole web
yeah,
of what's going on and what's happening. And yeah, so
yeah,
you have to think about your actions and how you're doing things and yeah, how you move
yeah,
forward.
yeah. Everything we think, say, or do or feel ripples out.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Exactly. Where are you with that, Terry?
Sorry?
How do you feel about that idea? Just it's the
It,
co-creation of the universe, isn't it? Just that every
yeah,
single thing is.
yeah, it is true. I mean, like it's like every, I mean, like yeah, everything has a reason in
Mhm.
this world with their existence. I mean, sometimes I'm like my children ask me like, okay, how does it go in the cycle of the, for example, it's something happens, like that's an insect, but how does it go in the cycle in the nature? What do they serve? I mean, why do you want to get rid of some of the things and why don't? But actually everything has a reason. I mean, even they look like, oh, it's an insect or something like that, but everything has a reason to
Yeah.
Mm,
exist. I mean, in the nature and in the world. And I think, yeah, it's really important. And as Lianne mentioned, I mean, like what we say, what we write, what we think, they all get into the process. And I think that when I see sometimes social media in general, it's like I think the people just don't know where their words or where their thoughts go. It's like I sometimes say, yeah, keyboard nights. It's like, yeah, like when I'm in person, are you going to talk to me like that? No,
Yeah.
no, it's like so. I mean, it's like, that mindfulness. I think it's really important. I mean, to find a way to I mean, I don't say that like if you think something, okay, you don't say it at all, but it's like that kind of structure or that kind of limiting ourselves, I think, should come into force as well. I mean, it's really important. I think, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Terry. I think I try to be considered what I put on social media.
Yeah.
I never get into debates on social media. I don't like it. I don't like confrontation, whether it's in person or, behind a keyboard. But some of the stuff that's put out on social media, it's just horrendous. And I'm like, did they actually think before they put that out there? So I think, yeah, I'm very discerning what I actually look at on social media. I have a love-hate relationship with it, to be honest.
I know, gosh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and it can be really exhausting at times. So yeah, I think people just need to sort of find that balance. But I was just scrolling through Facebook yesterday and got someone that I don't even know. They're not on my friends. They must just have a public account, and they were posting videos about some argument they were having with someone else, and they were threatening to go and get them and all of this. And I'm like, you're going to look back on this in 5 or 10 years' time and
Yeah.
think how ridiculous it was. Or maybe they won't.
Well, exactly, they might
maybe
not,
they
which is
won't.
more worrying.
But I was just like, why would you want to put yourself out there and make yourself look so aggressive, reactionary, uneducated, or I could list all the words. And I just thought, how ridiculous when you could be using this platform for something good
Yeah, yeah.
rather than
Okay.
attacking someone. And it's like, all these, I hate it when different areas or disciplines within astrology get caught up in these fights about whichever system's
Oh
better or which
gosh.
system doesn't work.
I like the best. Yeah, the house
A
system
house
now.
system, I'm like,
Right.
no, if use which system works for you, but it doesn't mean you have to sort of attack other people for using a different system. And
No.
if you don't like a system, you don't agree with it, just walk away. You don't have to, try and destroy it. Astrologers should be supporting each other, coming together as a community rather than tearing each other down. It's one of my pet
Definitely.
hates. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, we were
Yeah.
talking before about the beautiful peacocks behind you. I just wonder if you could just mention the symbolism of those again, because they are lovely. And then you've got that wonderful peacock scarf as well, which kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
sets off your Cancer complexion.
Thank
That's
you.
really silvery.
Yeah. So the peacock's the sacred bird of Juno. And it has a lot of symbolism in alchemy, and Jung discussed the symbolism of the peacock a lot. So, it means a lot of different things, but like it was the sacred bird of Juno, which I've specialized in Juno and sort of published the book on Juno last year. But before I even started studying Juno, the house I used to live in backed onto a zoo, and the peacocks from the zoo used to come into my garden all the time. So, we'd be out in the garden, be peacocks strutting around all the time. And I just took them for granted once I got over the initial excitement.
Everyone has that.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, So, there'd be peacock feathers lying in the garden all the time. I just picked them up and put them in the house, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize how lucky I was. And then, of course, when I started studying Juno, the whole peacock thing, I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, wow, the universe had sent me a message, and I hadn't even realized. So I've just embraced the whole peacock brand now. I think when people like kind of associate me with peacocks now.
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh, and they're so beautiful. So why not? I mean, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Even the cover
exactly.
of the book is, I think, no, it's the Juno book is the cover of the book is a peacock, no? If you want to, you can show it.
Peacock feather, yeah.
Yeah, the feather of the peacock.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're beautiful, and they're very connected with rebirth and
Okay.
transformation. So
I did not know that.
yeah, I think they're just fascinating, and I just love animals anyway. So yeah, any excuse.
So, we'll obviously put your website and everything, underneath the YouTube so people can find you there. Do you have anything else you'd like to tell people about that's coming up?
And
Um,
anything, yeah, coming up in the any
anything
talks? Yeah,
specific?
are you
Obviously, you're
going to
teaching.
UAC this year?
Um,
United Astrology
I,
Conference?
I just changed my plans about UAC. Yeah, I was speaking at UAC in September, but I've got too many family commitments here, so I've really sadly had to withdraw from that. But obviously, it was a huge honor to be invited to speak
Absolutely.
there. But I had to prioritize some family
Yeah.
things. However, I'm speaking for Kepler College in April, I think. I'm doing a talk on Juno for Kepler.
Hmm.
I'll be speaking for Rod Chang's Academy of Astrology later in June, I think. I'm not sure what the subject is. I'm doing a talk for the Mayo School next month, actually.
Oh, lovely.
And that's a really fun talk. So it's about sex, intimacy, and tastes, how they're going to change in the new era of air and fire.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's next month. And then I have other talks and stuff that I'm busy organizing and trying
Okay.
to find dates for. Then obviously just the promotion of my new novel, and then just all my other projects. Yeah.
Packed calendar as usual.
Yeah,
Wow. There's
I
lots
know.
to look forward to, Leanne.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for finding the time to talk to us. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been
exactly.
absolutely lovely
Oh, well,
to
thank you so
get to
much
know
for
you better.
inviting me. Thank you. It's always nice just to sort of share a bit of time, give a bit of time, and just
We
share a
appreciate it.
few thoughts and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. Thank you. Thank you.